I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the LA wildfires that are still burning after several days, and Democrats are getting a whole lot of backlash and criticism over their mishandling of this situation. Now, we all know what the mainstream liberal media does when Democrats face backlash, okay? They basically accuse anybody who is criticizing Democrats of spreading so-called misinformation / disinformation, okay? In fact, this is an article from the BBC, BBC, that is titled Fact-Checking Criticism of California Democrats Over Fires, okay? So now they're running full-blown propaganda, okay? They're fact-checking anybody who criticizes the Democrats, right? Because they want to protect the Democrats at all costs. Okay, you cannot criticize Democrats because right now is not the time to engage in politics, according to Democrats and the mainstream liberal media, due to the fact that this is a disaster.
Instead of this business about Democrats or Republicans, get the information up on the screens. Where can you go in Altadena? Where can you go in Pasadena? Where can you go in Malibu? Where can you go in the Palisades? Where can you go in San Fernando Valley? They don't know. They're looking for help, and that's what we should be dedicated to.
I agree.
And you too.
We are doing it. We will continue to do it. I think you are right. However, it can also be seen that you don't want to talk about the politics because it's on your party, because the mayor and the governor are Democrats who arguably should have had the people in Altadena better prepared for this. They should have the resources more available so they don't need me to put them up because the state has been doing the work. And that if they've been preparing the situations for wildfires like they were made aware of, instead of cutting deals with PG&E and insurance companies, they would have prepared the state. That is not unfair criticism. Is it too soon? Maybe, but the questions are real.
Let me tell you something. I'm not in the business of protecting anybody. And I think that my work over the years that I've been involved have been absolutely on point in dealing what has to be dealt with in order to help the people. First thing you got to understand is services cost money. And we should be willing to get the richest people in this country, the richest 1% that is protected, make sure they pay their fair taxes so that we can have the money to provide the services. With that money and with those resources, the people who have been selected or elected to do the job should do the job. I don't care who it is. It could be Democrat, it could be Republican, it could be whatever. But the fact of the matter is, we all should have heavy hearts right now.
Yeah, so you see, now you hear that. It's not about Democrats or Republicans, they say, okay? Even though every single time there's a mass shooting or some type of natural disaster that they can blame on Republicans when Republican states are affected, the first thing that these people do, the mainstream media, the Democrats, that they point fingers at Republicans and say, well, it's their fault, right? You never, ever, ever hear Democrats come out and talk about how we shouldn't politicize a disaster when it makes Republicans look bad. Now, all of a sudden, when it makes Democrats look bad, because people are rightfully blaming Democrats, Now all of a sudden, oh, no, you can't politicize that, right? It's not about Democrats and Republicans. No. Don't criticize us. You can't, okay? This is what is happening, folks. Now, at the same time, you have some Hollywood actors, like, for example, Miss Yannette Nicole Brown and Miss Kim Whitley. Most of you probably have never heard of these actresses, but these actresses are coming out and defending woke mayor Karen Bass from criticism, claiming that the criticisms of her are grounded in racism, because you're not supposed to criticize a black woman who is clearly and obviously doing a bad job.
Let me tell you something. She's got a spine of steel.
Yes.
And she's also been a black woman in America a very long time. So none of this is new to her. We are mad because we're tired of it.
We're mad
tired
for her.
But we're mad for her. And we're going to stand. Listen, I don't know how you here, but I'm happy you're here. Because somebody needs to
stand, behind her and support her. Because how she handling it, you can see it in her face. She stays calm. But think about this. She has the city to take care of. She does not have time to hear from these reporters.
And she is also not mayor of every municipality in California.
Yes.
There are people that are mad that she didn't fix the fires in Malibu. She's not the mayor of Malibu.
You're right.
What is she supposed to do in the city she's not the mayor of?
People don't understand.
And let me say this too. I could imagine how much it would hurt to see this happening in the city that she loves. That's first. So take away how it feels for people to attack her. She's heartbroken because this is happening in her city, a city that she loves.
And the people don't understand. They don't understand how large it is, because a lot of people are sitting in other parts of the city. They're not in it. They're not in the fire. They're not in the smoke. They don't see. They're not there. They're watching TV. Why? And they want to blame someone. This is not the time to blame. It's time to get some resources. She has reached out far. We have planes coming in from other countries to help us. This is not the time. I need everybody to remain calm,
they need to leave her alone and let her do her work. Just let her do
support
her
the
work.
leadership,
Let her
support
do
Karen
her
Bass.
work.
That's all I can say. You cannot. This not the time.
It's time.
Ooh, y'all done got me
She's had
upset.
a great response so far to the fires. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
A great. She has done what she's had to do. She's jumped in there, and she's
And
got.
let me say this, we have fires every year. And I don't remember in the 30 years almost that I've lived in LA, I've never seen everybody react like this to the mayor and blame one person for a natural disaster.
Yes.
I've never seen it. Now what's different this time? Interesting, isn't
You
it?
said that. Amen, sister.
Yeah. So you see, now you heard that. Okay, these woke actresses are claiming that you're not supposed to place blame on the woke mayor. No. You cannot blame her because she's black, right? That's essentially the argument here. Okay, black people in leadership should not be criticized when they do a bad job, especially considering how there are concrete examples of what LA could have looked like if they actually had competent leadership. Like, for example, you have Mr. Rick Caruso, who's a billionaire developer and at one point was the water commissioner. He saved his own shopping mall with private firefighters, right? So he hired his own private firefighters, and you would think that his experience being water commissioner actually helped him out when it comes to saving property. And I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe, if this guy who clearly has experience when it comes to dealing with water issues and also trying to prevent fires from burning down his properties, you would think that if this guy was mayor, I don't know, maybe there would have been a different outcome.
Oh, this is his own water trucks.
Yep.
Wow, everything on. Oh my gosh.
I've been going around the city talking to firefighters and talking to paramedics. I've been talking to residents, and there's a deep concern throughout this city that the paramedics and the firefighters are understaffed because their budget has not been restored. From 15 years ago, when it was cut back, we have fire stations throughout this city that aren't mobilized because they don't have the staffing to do it, and it's just wrong. My plan as mayor is simple. We are going to restore the budget to bring the staffing levels back, to give the residents of Los Angeles the service they pay for and deserve. And that's the only way a city can be a great city. We have to reprioritize our budget in this city to make sure that our residents are safe and they're protected. And we can't do that unless we have a fire department that is fully funded and fully staffed.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. That was Rick Caruso sounding the alarm on the underfunding of the LA Fire Department 3 years ago, okay, talking about the need to have a fully staffed fire department and that this could be a problem. Again, the guy at one point was a water commissioner. He's a billionaire developer. I mean, to me, he seemed to be pretty qualified to be mayor, right? To be leading LA, okay? He should have been the guy that won that election. But no. Abortion was more important, right? Abortion and making history was much more important. And look at the result of that, okay? Budget cuts to vital services, public services, and the money was funneled into crazy things that California likes to spend money on, like illegal immigrants and fixing homelessness, except they don't actually really get anybody off the streets, right? The homelessness problem actually gets worse. But hey, according to Democrats, there was nothing that they could do about it because this isn't the fault of the Democrats. This is not negligence or incompetence or anything like that. No. Actually, this is climate change, right? This is the fault of climate change. So therefore, you can't point the finger at Democrats.
California Governor Newsom's calling for an investigation into why some fire hydrants ran dry and also why a major reservoir that services the Pacific Palisades area was offline when the fires began. Based on what you saw when you were in the Los Angeles area, how much of a factor did these water supply issues play in hampering efforts to contain the fires?
You know, I'll defer to the experts in California about what they were using and what impact that had. I do know that there were so many fire starts at the same time and that it really did put a strain on the water system in the early hours and early days of this firefighting effort. But they know exactly what they had worked with, and the investigation, I'm sure, will show additional information. I think the biggest thing is to still focus on the fact that we still have fires to put out and that they're bringing in the resources necessary to help them do that.
A lot of Californians had their insurance canceled by private insurance companies, fire insurance. The industry in California was already in crisis before the fires. How worried are you that insurance providers are going to choose to flee California, as we've seen in other disaster-prone states such as Florida, and that California taxpayers and actually American taxpayers are going to end up footing the bill here?
I'm always concerned about the fact that many of the insurance carriers are pulling out of the markets. You know, these types of catastrophic risks, these fire risks, they are increasing. You know, we're seeing the change coming from climate change, and we're seeing more significant severe weather events.
You just touched on something we're hearing from a lot of survivors of these fires, which is this idea that this is just the new world we're living in due to the climate crisis, extreme heats, prolonged droughts, hurricane force Santa Ana winds. All of that created the tinderbox fueling this catastrophe. Does the scale of devastation in Los Angeles indicate that we as a country are just simply not prepared for the realities of the climate crisis?
Well, I think what we have to do is look at what these new weather events are bringing, the severity that they're bringing, and think about what the future risk is going to continue to be. And as we have these tragedies, we also need to make sure that we're taking this as an opportunity to rebuild these communities in a way that's going to make them more resilient against these types of disasters.
Okay, so again, clearly, obviously, what we have here is mismanagement of resources, but you're not supposed to criticize the Democrats, okay? You're not supposed to attack them. What you're actually supposed to do is you're supposed to criticize Elon Musk and Trump for criticizing the Democrats, which is essentially what Jen Psaki argued on MSNBC. Take a look.
And with these fires still burning, we are facing important questions about how to mitigate and prevent disasters like this in the future. Fact is, leaders will need to confront a very complicated and challenging reality moving forward. But right now, that is not exactly what is happening. Instead, Donald Trump and his allies are injecting half-truths, misinformation, and flat-out lies in some cases in order to score a version of political points, I suppose. We saw something similar play out just this past October in the aftermath of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, when Trump repeatedly lied about FEMA spending disaster relief funds on migrants, which didn't happen. Also baselessly claiming that the Biden administration was absent and incompetent in delivering aid, despite what elected officials of both parties on the ground said. Those lies were then spread and amplified by the richest man in the world on the social media site that he owns. So I guess none of us should have been shocked this week when Elon Musk posted that the Los Angeles Fire Department prioritized DEI over saving lives and homes. That's an exact quote. That appeared to be a disgusting dig at the city's fire chief, Kristen Crowley, who has served in the department for decades, rising through the ranks to become the first female and LGBTQ fire chief in LA's history. Musk also amplified a post this week from conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Yes, that guy. He's still around. Alex Jones wrote that Los Angeles fires are part of a larger globalist plot to wage economic warfare and deindustrialize the United States before triggering total collapse. I mean, not sure that guy's okay. Musk responded to that post by writing, true. Yes, just to repeat here, that's just the richest man in the world and the best friend of the incoming president confirming to his 200 million followers that he thinks the devastating wildfires are a part of a globalist plot. And so now we're back in this vicious cycle where Trump and his new bestie push lies about a natural disaster, and then right-wing media runs with them.
I'll say it out loud. They have no intention of putting out these fires. All these people are focused on pronouns and fish you can't eat and, scrubbing white people from the fire department.
DEI, as Elon Musk said, can actually mean DIE.
In the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? I can make all kinds of horrible theories up in my head, conspiracy theories and everything else, but it just seemed a little convenient that there was no water and and that the wind conditions were right and that there are people ready and willing and able to start fires. And are they commissioned to do so, or are they just acting on their own volition? I don't know.
That's a conspiracy theorist playing it all out on TV and nobody questioning him.
Yeah, so while the mainstream liberal media is worried about conspiracy theories from the right, Elon Musk is actually helping out, right? He's actually helping law enforcement. He's helping those who are trying to save lives in LA by providing cyber trucks and Starlink terminals to the areas affected in LA without connectivity, right? So you have a man who the mainstream liberal media continues to criticize, they continue to smear over his free speech, actually doing the work. Now, what is Jen Psaki doing, right? What has she done to help out? Not a damn thing. But the person that she's criticizing actually is doing something, right? He actually is helping. And again, that's why I just find it hilarious how all these people want to come out and criticize Elon Musk and want to hate on Elon Musk. But yet he's out here doing stuff like that. He's actually being a positive contributor. He's actually doing something about the disaster, okay? They will rather blame Elon Musk, who is doing more than a lot of these Democrats are doing. I mean, Gavin Newsom, he's not doing anything except photo ops, right? That's what he's doing. He's going out there pointing at the fire, taking pictures, and then leaving. That's what he's doing. That's all he's doing, okay? The rest of Democrats useless, aren't doing anything, but Elon Musk actually is doing something, and they're criticizing him. They're pointing the finger at him. Well, he says mean things that we don't agree with, right? Again, our media should be ashamed of themselves. They really should be ashamed of themselves. They're embarrassing themselves every single day. They come out here and they cover for the Democrats. They defend the indefensible. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.